Om Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to another Yoga Small Talk, and we continue with 7 minutes Bhagavad Gita a day. We are reading from chapter 3, the Yoga of Action, and we have reached verse 36. Now, verse 36 is a question by Arjuna. And you might have already noticed, but although the Bhagavad Gita is called the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, it is actually a teaching of Lord Krishna. Arjuna is speaking in chapter 1, a little bit in chapter 2, and after that a question here, a question there, and the rest is a teaching of Lord Krishna, because this is the purpose of the scripture. It is a teaching that is given by the Lord to Arjuna and through Arjuna to us. So naturally, Lord Krishna is doing most of the talking, meaning most of the teaching, and Arjuna just puts a question here and there. But the questions are very, very, very beautiful, and they help to steer the teaching in a way that as if answers our questions. The questions of a sincere aspirant who is listening to a teaching and wants to follow, but is having challenges. And with all humility, comes to the teacher and says, yes, I really want to follow your teachings, but I have a difficulty. Either I am not able to, although I try, or I don't fully understand, or I'm frustrated. Arjuna is expressing all those things that we all feel. But he has the humility and the wisdom to ask the questions in such a way that prompts very, very great teachings. So here there is another such question which starts a very, very beautiful teaching. Verse 36, we will read it together. Arjuna said, "But impelled by what does man commit sin, though against his wishes, O Varshneya Krishna? Constrained as it were by force." It is so beautiful. Let us repeat it. 36. Arjuna said, 36. "But impelled by what does man commit sin, though against his wishes, O Varshneya Krishna, constrained as it were by force?" There are a few verses of the Bhagavad Gita that it's very good to memorize. This dialogue, the two verses, Arjuna's question and Lord Krishna's response, if you want to memorize, it's very, very beautiful. And before we get to Lord Krishna's response, let's look a little bit at the question. The chapter is the Yoga of Action. And we are here learning how to act properly in order to grow spiritually and to fulfill our purpose in our birth. And Arjuna is telling Lord Krishna, okay, yes, I really want to do what you're telling me to do, but sometimes it just feels like I'm not in control. Things happen that I know I'm not supposed to be doing them against my wishes. It's not my wish. It happens. So tell me, what is causing me to do that? So I'll be able to stop doing that, and I will be able to follow your instructions. Now you see the great humility that it takes to admit, yes, I really, really want to follow the teachings, but it's not in my hands. Things are happening to me, and I'm doing things that I know that will bring me pain. This is sin in yoga. Things that will bring me pain. Why is it happening to me? And we all experience it. For instance, when I was in the ashram, you know, twice a day we have satsang, gathering of the population of the ashram. We meditate, we chant, and then there is some teaching. And we feel very, very, very elevated, and we hear some teachings about principles of yoga many times, how to be truthful, non-injury, the real nature of myself, the law of karma, many things that prompt us to be good and do good, as Swami Shivananda said. And as we are sitting there in the satsang, we make resolutions, okay, how could I ever think of being so nasty to other people? It's unheard of, and I shouldn't be competitive like this anymore, and I should be more sharing, and you know, many things. I will not utter falsehoods again. We make those resolutions with ourselves, and then the satsang ends. And sometimes even before the time you left the satsang hall, somebody comes and pushes this button or something comes up, and immediately it's all the teachings out the window. It's as if I never made any of those resolutions. You know, my old nature is coming up again. And why is it happening? It's almost against my will, because, you know, I made this resolution that it's not going to happen anymore. So why is it happening? Why is it happening anyway? What's going on that brings us? Although we know better, we were just in satsang, or we were reading some very inspiring book, or we were otherwise listening to some very inspiring teaching, and we concluded, yes, this way that I was following is not ideal. All those injuries and fights and anger, it's not very helpful to me. So why is it still happening? Lord Krishna is answering, and we will discuss this in the next video. Please join us. Om Shanti.